Yeah, it is another episode of the Autumn Windbags. RJ Clifford, Juan Soto. Let's have some fun today. This is the first full week that we've had since August of last year that was completely and utterly NFL-less. No NFL this last weekend. No NFL this week. And have to come to grips. It's going to be this way.
I'm getting shaky
for a while. We always wonder why do we give such a shit about the combine? Why do we care so much about the trade deadlines? Because when there's no football, you're just like, give me a football-like substance.
I need my fix.
Like you don't have good cocaine. All right, just give me dirt crack I found on the floor. You know what I mean? Like, just give me something.
On shit. I'm good.
And the NFL just plays us like a marionette. Just like, oh yeah, we'll give you. Here's a football-like substance. You're gonna go nuts to watch a bunch of 22-year-olds in tights run 40s. But you guys are not going to have. But it works. So that means question of the day. What did you do with this first weekend without NFL football? Did you watch any XFL?
I did. It
wasn't bad.
I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed
it. Yeah, I wish they made the rules more different. They have different kickoff, stuff like that. But I was watching a buddy of mine posted the highlight video of my junior year of high school football. Like he had it on VHS, put it on Facebook, and I was watching it. And there was a wedge, there was a wedge buster, there was horse collar tackles, there was ear holes. I was like, I miss that football. Like, I understand why we don't have 1960s like choke slamming dudes, like face mask. Like I understand. Okay, I don't have to have that football.
The Deacon Jones head slap. Dude,
just the full on like our DBs would just like jump in the air, grab their helmet and fall. Like they did like an upside, like a right side up DDT.
Yeah.
It was like totally illegal, right? I don't need that. Just give me the football that I played in high school. That's what I miss.
I will say this though. I do like the 3-point conversion. I do like the 4th and 15 instead of the onside kick.
Yep.
And I do like that rule that if the ball goes out of bounds within the 35, the ball goes to the 35-yard line. So that creates more returns. I understand. I mean, I like it.
What'd you do?
All right. So in my infinite wisdom.
Okay. I like where this is going.
I'm singing this very lovely young lady.
Okay.
And we're like, okay, I picked this up somewhere. I don't know where it was. But we get a fishbowl, and then we put ideas in the fishbowl, right? So one color is like dinner ideas. One color is like dessert or like sweets, like little ideas. And one color is like
anal.
Full-on dates.
Oh,
right?
That's what I meant. Romance.
Yeah, for sure.
We're saying the same thing. Yeah.
So I picked one out, right? And I didn't know where the hell it was. I don't know what the hell it was. It was one of hers. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so excited and blah, 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 this and that. Okay, fine. It was this place called Polar Playground, right? And they make cotton candy figures, like characters, right? I mean, if you're watching it, you can see it right now. She got some fucking Hello Kitty, not Hello Kitty, but like some Hello Kitty-ish character. That whole thing that you're seeing, except for the stick, everything else is edible. It's all cotton candy.
That thing is as big as your chick's torso and head.
Yes, it's huge. It was $20, okay, for that. Number one. Number two, I was in line for almost 4 hours.
Come again?
Yes. We got in line. No, it was about 3.5 hours. We got in line. We were just after 12. And I thought, okay, it's going to be a line, whatever. No, they didn't open until 1. And we were in line at just after noon, and we're already like 40 people, 50 people deep. I'm like, what the hell?
You waited 4 hours in line for cotton candy.
I didn't even get it. I didn't even get that. I didn't want it. I'm not going to spend $20 for that.
You waited 4 hours in line.
Bro, this is what I'm talking about.
This is my hell.
I know. And the problem is she put this with the wrong color. This is not just fucking dessert. This is a full-on date, 4 hours. Like I've had dates where I've fucked and I've been back home, showered, and watching TV in less than 4 hours. Okay.
At this point, you should have either dropped down on one knee and proposed because you love her so much you put yourself through hell, or dumped her right that second for putting you through that hell. There's really no more middle ground right now. It's either put a ring on it
I wasn't
or
looking
kick it
for
to
a
the curb.
replacement in line, dude.
4 hours to get that.
Yeah, we got in line just after noon, and
okay,
we were out of there at
I'm changing
like
the question of the day.
Huh? What's that?
I'm changing the question of the day.
Why? What are you gonna change it to?
Is Soto a dumbass?
No, get out of here.
4 hours in line?
Yeah, it was bad, dude. It was really bad.
Wow.
I will say this though. I was wearing slides, right? Like sandals, like soccer sandals type things, but they were made by Crocs, right? And my feet felt pretty damn good. I wasn't like, so. Yeah, dude. Okay, look, I was so upset. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to order? I don't want one of these cotton candy things. Let me get a sundae, right? And they had a PBBJ sundae, so peanut butter, banana, and jelly sundae. Okay. I'm like, cool, that sounds good. All the stuff I like, I'll go for it. And I ate it, and it was severely underwhelming.
You had the worst weekend ever.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It's amazing your brains aren't splattered on your wall right now.
Well, I'll tell you what she did do for me, though.
It better be good. Is it graphic?
Tuesday, she came when I was at work. She came to my place, and she works from home. So she worked from my place, and she cooked me a Thanksgiving dinner, like full-on turkey spread, everything.
Did it take her 4 hours?
It took her about 4 hours to cook. Yeah, to cook the turkey. Yeah, so we're even. So I got home and I have like all this turkey. It was a small turkey that we got because like you spend this much and you get the turkey for like almost free, right? Okay, great. So we had an extra turkey that it was just sitting in my freezer. So I had thawed it out and I'm like, okay, I'll cook it. And she's like, oh, I can do it for you on Tuesday. I said, fine, you do it. And she did it. So I got food for like 2 weeks.
I married my high school sweetheart. I have a 3-year-old daughter. And there still isn't a bitch on earth I'd wait 4 hours in line.
Bro, I didn't know. I didn't know it was going to take that long. I had no clue.
After 45 minutes, you're like, okay, let's get out of here.
No,
this is
ridiculous. I can't do it. I can't do that.
Okay.
I can't do that.
Question of the day. Put it down in the comments section. What did you do this weekend without football? Or is Soto a dumbass?
Come on.
Those are the options. So, old Dave Ziegler doing some media rounds. Went on busting with the boys with Playoff Willie, as we call him. Now, we should have saw this coming. He said almost nothing in a 1-hour interview. Like, there were some kind of cool stories about like his thought process and how he came up. Like, if you care about Dave Ziegler, the human being, you'd probably really enjoy it. If you don't give a shit about him as a man and you just want to know what the plan is this season, we got almost nothing. Which I guess
industry standard. It's not
that's partly how it should be, right? If he went out straight up and was like, okay, we're going to trade up to number 3 and we're going to get CJ Stroud, like gave away the plan. We'd be like, what the fuck are you doing, right? At least give us something, right? Keep us satiated a little bit. He gave almost nothing, except he said one thing, literally only one thing on the interview that we can actually take anything from and learn about. Talk about the quarterback. We're in charge of filling the most important position on the team. There's some pressure that comes along with that. And however we fill it, it doesn't mean we're going to have an immediate answer this year. I believe we're going to win here. I believe we're going to build something that's coming to compete for championships and get us where we want to go. I'm not going to do anything and divert from that because I'm scared of something to try to buy 2 more years because I do this or that. That's not how I'm wired. I'm not going to go down like that. But most importantly, it doesn't mean we're going to have an immediate answer this year at the most important position in all of sports, your starting quarterback in the NFL. Soto, when you read that, what was your take?
It's just like the rest of the interview. He's not saying anything. Well, if he's like, well, we really need to fill that position right now and we got to find somebody to come in and win right now. Okay, well, then now he's tipping his hand. Mm-hmm. If he says, well, we're not necessarily going to have, that doesn't mean we're going to have an immediate answer. He's still leaving it kind of like back and forth. Okay, are we going to trade up? Are we going to sign a veteran? Are we going to have a bridge quarterback? So he's still keeping it. That's how I took it. Because that falls in line with the rest of the interview.
It sounds But it sounds like he's planting a be ready to be disappointed seed in your head, right? Where it's like, that doesn't mean we're going to have an immediate answer this year. Well, don't you want whoever it's going to be the immediate answer, right? Like, don't you want whoever you have to feel like this is your team and we believe in you and you're going to take us where we're going to go, whether it's Aaron Rodgers or a rookie or Stidham or whatever it may be. Like, you should be like, yeah, like, we believe in this guy and we're going to go. And instead it's just like, he may not be the answer. Whoever we get may not be the answer.
Well, yeah, I mean, because the thing is we don't know what his plan is. Like he said, we have a plan. We're not going to deviate from the plan because we're afraid to get fired. Yep. We know what we need to do to build a team the right way. So does that mean reaching for a quarterback in the first round? No, because if the quarterback is not there, are you going to scramble? Or are you then going to overdraft and draft the quarterback too high because you're going to be in scramble mode? No. Yeah. So in that case, yeah, you get a bridge quarterback, or are you going to trade a bunch of picks and mortgage the future for the right now when you necessarily don't have the pieces that you need to win right now? Or are you going to build slow? I mean, that's the thing, is we're looking at it from the eyes of we need to win right now. And that's the problem that I see with that mentality is we've been doing the Band-Aid duct tape thing for too long. We need to have a long-term plan, and we need to have somebody who's not afraid to stick to his guns.
Yeah, I'm with you there. But it sounds like he's like, all right, be ready for quarterback purgatory.
Again,
at least have that in your mind.
You keep saying that, RJ, and it's not that. I believe fully that we've been in quarterback purgatory. That we thought
it's because you haven't been in quarterback purgatory that you think Derek Carr is quarterback purgatory. The Jets have been in quarterback purgatory.
I've been a Raider fan longer than you have. I know about quarterback purgatory.
Well, clearly you forgot about it.
No, yes. Because look, purgatory is what you make of it. If you think having a quarterback that you can look at, this is my starting quarterback every single year, he's going to be here every single game, regardless of how good or not good he is, I can look at this guy as my quarterback. If you can consider that not being quarterback purgatory, fine. But on the other end of that same coin, on the side is, if you look at a quarterback that you don't feel that you can win with, that you don't feel that can get you consistently to where you want to go to be the type of franchise that you want to be, then that's quarterback purgatory, because you're looking at him thinking that he's going to be something different than he's shown you he was. So there's two sides of that. And I'm encouraged by the fact, the one thing I took from this interview was sticking to my guns. I have a plan. I'm going to put my plan in place. This is what I want to do, and I'm not going to deviate from it. I know what I want to do to build this, because he said also in the interview, we want to be like the Green Bays and the Pittsburghs and the Ravens and the Patriots, where every year they're in it. Every year they're good, right? For a long time. It's not just a flash in the pan. We're going to be good this year and then we're gone. I want this to be a long-term thing. I want to build this long-term. And that's how GMs think. Now, head coaches think a little bit different because they're a little bit more on the hot seat. But I was very encouraged by that part of it. And it makes sense. Like, I'm not going to mortgage my future, or I'm not going to cut myself short by reaching for a quarterback that I'm not sold on just because, he's the best option available right now. Like, okay, if we have to go with the bridge, we go with the bridge. But this is for the long term.
It sounds to me, and again, like we both need to acknowledge how little he's saying, and maybe we're like overanalyzing it a little bit, but I think I couldn't help but think to myself, this is what I would say if we don't win again and I'm trying to save my job, is we're building for the future. Like, maybe we don't have an immediate answer, but we have a plan and we're building for the future. That's why we lost 2 seasons in a row. Like, I can't help but hear the used car salesman pitch of someone trying to keep their job.
I get it. And again, if you're looking from the perspective of, because I know you don't like Dave Ziegler. I think I know that you think
he has yet to prove his mettle yet. Right? I think it's fair to say
he's had one season as a GM with an overrated roster, I think, as far as how it's constructed. It's severely stripped of any type of talent defensively. We have like 1 or 2 players that you can build upon. And
the only good ones he inherited, the ones he picked up, have you ever been drastically overpaid or didn't?
Well, I mean, again, right? you're looking right? why are you going to overspend on guys when maybe there's not the ones available? You're going to need to build slow. You need to get the right people in there. Again, if you're looking at it from that perspective that he sucks, yeah, I can see where you think that. I'm still being patient. I'm not saying he's the greatest. I'm not saying he sucks.
I'm not saying get rid of him, right?
RJ, but the problem is the mindset that you have going into the perspective that you're looking at him. If you're having the mindset, he ain't shown me shit yet. Okay, which is true. Okay, I understand what you're saying, RJ, but that's a negative perspective already.
Because it's been negative results. Like, I don't know how else supposed to look. I mean, we can like look. The most optimistic way to look at Dave Ziegler is that he's in his second year. There wasn't a lot of the cupboards were pretty bare in a lot of places, and he's still figuring out how to do his job as a first-time GM. That's the most optimistic way to look at it.
Well, no, okay. Again, that last part was still a little bit negative.
Because it's true.
Well, not necessarily. What if he has a plan already, and this is part this? I'm not going to deviate from my plan. I'm not going to mortgage the future for right now when it's not going to be a long-term fix. I want to build this the right way.
If that's the case, then that means he's already deviated from the plan, because clearly last season was we think we can win this season, right? Trading away 2 draft picks for Davante Adams, signing Chandler Jones.
I was just using that as an example. I don't know what his plan is. I don't know what his plan. I think maybe his plan would have been, let's see what we can do with this roster now. And if once they show us who they are, then we got to see what we have to do from there.
Because his actions and his words don't jive, right? Last season they treated this season like we can win this season, right? Davante Adams, Chandler Jones, etc. Right? Extending all these big expensive guys, right? It was like we can win this season. Now it's hitting the brake pedal. Whoa! We're building for the future. Hold on, we may not have an exact answer right now at quarterback, but that's because we have a plan moving forward. And rightfully so, since last season fell apart, it's time to pivot, right? So
yeah,
it's
exactly
in fairness, right? Like that is what he should be doing is, okay, plan A didn't work, let's work on plan B. But you see where I'm going. It's like that means plan A's are like, no, there's no other way to look at it than plan A, they already fucked up. Right? Like that's already been done. It doesn't mean get rid of them. That doesn't mean.
I don't agree with that fucked up. I don't agree with fucked up.
They went to win last season and won 6 games. That's a
okay. Look, here's the issue. No, it's not a fuck up because you're seeing. Okay, I mean, all right. You're seeing what you have. You're seeing what you can do with what you have. Was it smoke and mirrors? Yeah, I told you that from the very fucking beginning. It was smoke and mirrors. There's no way we should have made the playoffs, and we did. We had a very if you would have played that season over again 50 times, I don't think we would have made the playoffs more than 3 or 4 times. It's fucking crazy.
We did this time.
I understand what you're saying, RJ, but you're not thinking long term. You're thinking, okay, you're thinking we should get better every year no matter what. Every player should get better every year no matter what. And that's not the case, man. There's a lot of circumstances.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying we shouldn't drop from 10 wins to 6. When we invested a first round and a second round pick, big money defensive player that fell apart. That I'm not talking in absolutes. I'm saying they made moves to win last season. No, they made moves to win last season.
What you're saying is you absolutely need to be the same or better every single year. Because we won 10 games, we needed to win at least 10. That's an absolute.
I'm saying when you act like you're going to, when you trade away major assets, you sign expensive deals, that means you're going to try to parlay what you did last season. If they would have come in and said, look, we think last season's roster, just like you, smoke and mirrors, we think you guys got really, really lucky, we're going to have to kind of strip things down and start from scratch, they wouldn't have done all the moves they did last season.
There's no way that you could do that coming in. There's no way. You had to roll the dice again. You had to see what you had with those players. And it showed to be what it was. A lot of smoke and mirrors. We had some people that, we thought would have maybe people that we thought were different, and they ended up showing you someone who they were that you didn't think they were.
I am not willing to write off a 10-win season to a 6-win season as just like, well, we always sucked. You are what your record is.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying
you are what your record is.
A lot of things. Okay, then
what?
RJ, it's just amazing how you're so this way now, but previously you were so about all the intangibles and all the excuses, and now you're not. It's just a complete night and day.
No. I've always been this way, dude.
No, you're not, dude. You're all about the excuses.
For a coach, yes.
Again, it's a mindset that you have to have. And your mindset is different depending on whether you like the person or whether you don't like the person. My mindset has been the same, regardless. I'm patient. I give it a chance. I let it grow. I let it
I'm saying give them both a chance too. I'm saying.
But you're shitting on them all the whole time on the way up.
Because they've done shitty things. They've done shitty. It was a shitty season after an awesome season. Okay. Bad free agent moves, poor coaching, poor play on almost every player, like almost, minus a handful of players. Most of the team played worse last season than the season before that. This is all bad things to acknowledge, and you won't even acknowledge it.
If you think 2021 was an awesome season, I don't know what to tell you.
By Raiders standards?
Extremely. No. See, that's
standards.
The thing. That's like comparing Derek Carr to who we had previous. It's not logical. We shouldn't do it. We should compare him to who is playing now. And the problem is we're looking at, we're comparing and we're moving the goalposts and we're changing it to fit a narrative that we want. What I'm saying is this: 2021 is not going to happen again. Because a lot of things fell into place when they shouldn't have. Our play wasn't good enough. A lot of shit happened that should have made us not win, but we did, and we came back to earth the next year. And I don't think that was any one person's fault.
The results of the season stand for themselves. No matter how much you paint it, right? No matter how many mustaches you put on the Mona Lisa, right? Like the record is the record.
All right.
And the moves that this
and you wanted to keep Derek Carr, and he was 63 and 79. Your record is the record. Why do you want to keep him? Why do you want to keep him?
The Raiders were 63 and 79.
Again, see, that's the thing is now you're moving the goalposts. Okay,
I'm not moving the goalposts. If you tie a quarterback's win and loss record,
everybody does it because it is a huge part of it.
What's the Raiders' record the last 9 seasons without Derek Carr? Do you know what it is?
Not great.
0-5. 0-5 without Derek Carr. Now,
are these starting caliber? Are these starting caliber quarterbacks that we're putting out there, or are these backups?
Why are you making excuses, bro? 0-5. Why are you making excuses? See, attaching a win-loss record to a quarterback is stupid because
it's not stupid. Number one, I'm not going to let you talk to me like that. First off, it's not stupid because there's a lot to put into the quarterback play. You wanted to absolve. I'm not putting it all on Derek Carr, but that's what people do. Because guess what? Good quarterbacks make the playoffs.
Good quarterbacks on good teams make playoffs. And yeah, the quarterback's the most important position on the team. But if you attach win-loss to it and say that's that quarterback, that's what they did.
Bro, you could have put freaking Vince Lombardi on the freaking winless Browns and the winless Lions, and they're not going anywhere. You need to have players too. You need to have something there.
Yeah.
And when you have a ridiculously low talent on one side of the ball because the previous regime left you almost nothing, you're not going to build that back in a year, man.
No, but you should get better, and the Raiders got worse.
That's not necessarily true, man. Because if all you're looking at is to get better this year, yeah, you can spend a ton of money and fuck your future up.
That's what they did. They spent a ton of money and trade away 2 draft picks to win this season, and they didn't. Right? That's what happened. I'm not saying get rid of them, but that's what happened.
Okay. Let's get rid of everybody and start over.
Okay. Joining us now, really good friend of the show, half of the Tape Don't Lie guys, Marcus Johnson, joins us next.
This fucking
what
guy.
up?
God fucking
I love you guys.
So
you guys are funny.
You're such a fucking cunt bag sometimes.
I have to acknowledge when he's forced to acknowledge that we went from 10 wins to 6 wins.
Yeah, and that's all the coach's fault. It wasn't the fact that we had nobody fucking playing defense and we had our all-world quarterback, according to you, play like fucking 3-day-old stepped-on dog shit.
The defense on paper was better this season than last season and played worse. Whose fault is that?
Tell him, Marcus. Well, in 4 games where we had leads, we scored 6 points combined in the second half. We didn't move the ball past the 50 in another game.
How many pass plays did we call on that?
It's everything. It was everything. I tell you, that's basically how I.
And when everything goes south, who's to blame?
It was everything, but you know what? We knew our defense wasn't great. We
got worse.
And we knew that our offense had to carry our team. And when our offense scored 6 points in 4 games combined that we had leads in, That's the offense's fault. And we take a look, and Marcus has seen tape. I've seen tape. There was plays there to be made that our quarterback just wasn't making. Plain and simple. I don't think that Derek Carr ever bought into Josh McDaniels' system. He wanted to do his thing. Because there was plays there to be made, and he was missing them, and he was freaking playing the Derek Carr game and freaking not wanting to take hits and giving up on plays. What am I saying that's wrong? I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I think the missing thing is a little weird. I don't know. I don't think he missed as many things as people try to say he did. I think a lot of it was based on timing and just asking him to do shit that he's just not good at. Because a lot of it was that. I think a lot of it is asking him to
stand in the pocket, like scramble with your eyes down the field.
I guess it's like this. I mean, Gruden didn't ask him to do those things that Josh McDaniels asked him to do, and he did a lot better with Gruden. Let's just say that. I mean,
we can all agree Josh McDaniels and Derek Carr is not a marriage that works. No. We can all agree.
It didn't work.
No matter who you want to blame it on, we can all agree that marriage should be a no immediately. Yeah. Not okay, you're sleeping on the couch. Not okay, I'm going to live with my mother-in-law for a week. It's no. Move to different countries.
They've done that.
Far away from each other as you can. If you have kids together, send them off to an orphanage. Don't raise kids together.
Just fucking burn the whole thing
and null it. Everything. Send apology cards to everyone at the wedding. Whoever was the officiant for the wedding, execute that person publicly. Like all those things. That's what that marriage is. You come to a hornet's nest, Marcus. I promise. We're normally on. We're actually on worse behavior.
Our team is Mr. Excuses when it comes to Carr, but
we're normally on better behavior when Soto gets into his feelings really easy.
Dude, you're such an asshole, dude. Fuck.
You get really into your feelings, like just
no, dude.
Scroll through your Twitter.
You were Mr. Excuses, and I'm preaching patience, man. I was patient with Carr for 6+ years.
I'm saying don't move on from Ziegler and McDaniels.
Yeah, but you're shitting on them the entire time.
They've done nothing but shit the entire time.
Oh God, dude. Okay.
Yes. No.
Okay. I wasn't shitting on Carr the entire time. I was saying, be patient. We got to do this. We got to do that. All right, man. Whatever. Let's fucking do this shit. God damn, man.
Let's do it.
Sorry, Mark.
I'm going to leave all this in. By the way, this was too much fun. This is
the B-reel on the end. The B-reel on the end.
This is making it to the actual film. Not
God
the
damn, man.
In all seriousness, I would say the tape don't lie, guys.
I love going on this show, guys.
I go to YouTube more than anyone else, and we got some great friends, some great content creators. Sanjeet's a great friend of ours. There's some great guys out there. But when it comes to analyzing tape and getting like football knowledge in my brain, I go to YouTube at Tape Don't Lie. I really appreciate your guys' work. Let's start with quarterback, right? For the first time in 9 years, we have no idea who our next quarterback is going to be. And because it's the Raiders and because that's how the quarterback carousel goes, you time those two together. And we've heard everything from Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers to Jared Stidham coming in. Do they have all these guys as rookie quarterbacks coming in? Like
Matt McGloin's warming up.
Right. Soto's already like working, throwing balls into a rubber tire in his backyard. Like he's just got a shot now. What are you looking for? And I know this is like a very vague and general one. We'll go into the specifics of the possible quarterbacks, but like, what would you like to see? Not what you think McDaniels or Ziegler are going to do. What would you like to see the Raiders do realistically for their QB1 next season?
I would like for them to go young at this point. I think they should go young. I mean, we need to rip the Band-Aid off at this point. I mean, we have to find a young quarterback eventually, right? I mean, we could shuffle veterans our whole lives, veteran. That's fine. But eventually we got to find a young quarterback that actually is a franchise quarterback. So I think we should start that process right now. I think this class is pretty good at the top in the first round. It's not a bad class. It's not like it's not like last year where you just had like Kenny Pickett or like Desmond Ridder and guys like that. There's some some talent here so that they actually develop and become good quarterbacks. So I think I'd rather them do that than go to veteran route. I mean, because we could keep a veteran bridge quarterback. I mean, we kind of had one, so they wanted to get rid of him. So I mean, I feel like we should let's go young. Let's do that and let's just rip the Band-Aid off and see what this guy's got. That's my opinion. But they got to keep Davante Adams happy. So I think that might be in the back of their mind of what they want to do. But in my opinion, he could catch passes from a young quarterback. So
Yeah, I think all three of us are in complete agreement. It's like, all right, let's enough of the Band-Aid shit. Let's get the quarterback of the future this season, right?
Yeah.
What does that look like to you? Is there do you trust this regime? Like, let's say they want to trade up, right, and start giving up some picks to like get their guy. Like we've zeroed in on our guy. We want him. Do you trust this regime to do that? Because Soto and I are both like, I kind of want to keep trading back because we have so many holes everywhere, especially on defense. Like, let's just get some bodies in there, and that's almost as important as getting the quarterback.
Yeah, I think one thing Dave Ziegler did do good last year, I think he was able to have a good feeling of what everybody else in the draft was going to do. So he was able to move around and get guys that he really liked and kind of have an idea of where they're going to be picked. And I think with the quarterback, he's got to do some research. Am I going to be able to trade back and maybe get a guy that I actually like? Maybe the NFL is actually lower than somebody, because a lot of this buzz comes from a lot of these scouts. Coaches haven't got involved and started just falling in love with the guy. The job interview hasn't happened yet, really. To be honest, the job interview happens next week at the combine. That's when these guys can try to wow somebody. They can change their whole outlook of the draft next week. It is a big factor into it. So, you got to have a feel. You got to have a good conversation with a lot of guys. I think Dave Ziegler does that really well, because if you have the opportunity to trade back and get more picks, the Raiders need that big time. They need more picks. They need some more young talent in here. And if they can do that, if maybe the Panthers get a quarterback and they decide they want to take one, maybe they can go backwards past the Panthers and land a quarterback that they like if a guy falls, because there's always a good chance that somebody's going to fall. The last time we had 4 quarterbacks go in the top 10, I think what 3 of them are trash. So yeah. You never know how these guys are quarterbacks. People say they like to take chances, but you saw Justin Fields fall all the way to 11. That kind of shocked me. So you never know. But they have a good shot to kind of get somebody they like. If even Anthony Richardson, I think is somebody they could work with. Josh McDaniels likes guys that can move. So we'll see though.
Yeah, I think the Jimmy Johnson route with the Cowboys. He traded back, I think it was 3 of the first 4 rounds. He traded back. No more than 7 picks, but he traded back like all the time. He was just piling up picks. And those 4 or 5 rounds, 4, 5, 6, man, that builds up. That's a build your roster right there. And if you have holes of places, and what I'm looking for at quarterback, and let me know what you think about this, is I want something elite about this guy. Yeah, I think we've had good enough for too long. And look, I will say this now. Thank you to Derek Carr for what he's done for this team. He put it out there on the line every single freaking week. He was out there almost every single week. It's just that he's not elite at anything. I'm tired of intangibles. I want some
I'm clipping the first 2 sentences you said about Carr and cutting out the rest.
Perfect. I want some tangibles, man. I want some tangibles. I want elite arm. I want elite speed. I want elite accuracy. I want something elite, because look, to brag about somebody's.
Sorry to cut you off. So are you asking for at least like elite trait, and maybe we can work? Because obviously everyone wants someone who's a 10 out of 10 on everything.
Of course.
But are you saying you're willing to have a guy who's 10 out of 10 on 2 things, but maybe he could be a 6 on a lot of other things? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because you can work with that. You can work with that, right? And the issue that I have with the intangibles thing is like you're pushing up like, oh, he's such a great leader and he's great in the locker room, like the other quarterbacks aren't. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I want some tangibles. I want that guy to be able to whip. Dude, I watched tape on CJ Stroud, and his accuracy, especially even on the move, is fucking scary, man. Like he's fucking what do they say now? The new one is fit it into a teacup. Like he can do that shit. And yeah, he had great receivers, but he still had to put them on these guys. And he's not afraid to overthrow balls. He's not afraid to let his arm loose. He can put it anywhere. And that's just, one example. But I want elite something. And I think that if you have an elite something, like look at Justin Fields. He is an elite runner. Like this dude is huge. He's fast. He's not easily brought down. But if you have that, you can work on some of the other things passing wise, because you have that strength and you have that way to attack a defense.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think finding an elite prospect is important. And, you also have to decide what is elite with them too. Like, one of the things why I really like Anthony Richardson, because he has elite pocket presence, which is rare, right? I mean, that's not Todd. That's instinct. That means that he has great football instincts inside of the pocket. When you have elite pocket presence, that means he feels things that people don't feel. He's able to move in there, and that's one of the things why I really believe in him, because no matter what, I can't teach you pocket presence, right? I mean, we all watch Derek Carr. I mean, it could get to a certain point where it gets better, right? But it's never going to be like awesome. It's never if it comes out and you're bad. And Anthony Richardson doesn't have that problem. That's going to be something he can do day one. Right. He's going to be able to move around the pocket, move around really well. Like the accuracy, you can fix his mechanics, you can fix some other things, but his field vision and his pocket presence is really, really well up there. And, same thing with like CJ Stroud. I kind of disagree with you with CJ Stroud. I don't think CJ Stroud does anything elite. I think everything he does is just
really
good to very good. Right.
Yeah.
And so like he kind of has that ceiling. Like, what is your ceiling? Like, how high are you going to be? Like, I really think he's like a Dak Prescott type of player in the NFL, which, I mean, Dak Prescott, he's going to get you, you don't know, you don't know if it's really the team or Dak Prescott or whatever, but Dak Prescott doesn't have that huge arm. You know what I'm saying? Dak Prescott's just very good at everything, right? And that's kind of why I feel CJ Stroud's going to be a little bit. But like an Anthony Richardson, I mean, you can talk about Will Levis too as a big arm, but his pocket presence kind of scares me. But
yeah, he gets a little jumpy, dude, and he runs fast.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with Anthony Richardson is he can get a lot of pressure in the pocket, and the way he can flick the ball, it's like he's always looking downfield. It's like the more pressure he gets, the deeper he looks.
And in all fairness to Levis, like he was playing in the SEC. Like it's kind of hard not to be running for your life when you're in Kentucky. I kind of get it. You know what I mean? I'm saying you guys are wrong, but I can kind of get it. It's funny you brought up CJ Stroud like that, because I watched your guys' last video on your last mock draft, and you guys drafted Stroud.
Yeah.
So like if he fell to the Raiders, you're like, that's where you would go.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like his future. It's just back to Soto's point. It's just how like what is his ceiling, right? But I know he's going to be good. I know that. I know that's not going to be something that is going to be bothering me. It's just like, how high is he going to be? Like, I know he has top 10 quarterback ability. Is he ever to be top 5 quarterback is kind of the question, but I know that's going to come in and play right away. And I know they're going to go safe if they had a choice. If they had a choice right now, because they want to save their jobs. I mean, they had a 6-11 season. You even heard Dave Ziegler talk about, you don't know if you're going to be here next year. They're going to try to be safe as possible. And I don't, they can try to say whatever they want about, we don't know if our quarterback's going to be here in the future, whatever. I mean, you better find them quick, because, Mark Davis is very irritable. He's an irritable guy. There's and he just
listens to a lot of voices. He's got a lot of voices in his ear, man. He's got a lot of voices.
And it's a quick decision. It's not even like it's impulsive. So they have to decide, what they want to do going forward. And I think a good young quarterback who probably can get this team to 6 wins again or 7 wins again, and maybe show some highlights of some future would keep them around for another season. So I think they have to make the right decision there. But I think CJ Stroud is a good player, because he has an understanding of NFL concepts. You just got to speed up his process a little bit. That might take a little bit of time, but that's what I'm talking about. As the year goes along and he plays, I think he'll get better. It's just, is he going to be the best of these quarterbacks for years from now? And that's what I don't know. But I really feel like they're going to go safe, though, in that area.
You got to imagine McDaniels and Ziegler are hoping that Mark Davis is happy since he's banging that Cirque du Soleil performer. It's like, okay, he's calmed down a lot. Like, we're going to have this Cirque du Soleil performer keep Mark Davis's finger off the ejection seat, because he's curled up with a girl that can, like, put both her legs behind her back. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's called job security. Like, having something like that with your boss.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about CJ Stroud, like one thing that I noticed is he second windows a lot of throws, where it's like maybe the initial window is open, but he like you said, he doesn't process the information that quickly, and because he has such elite receivers that can get open more than once, they're so fast and big. He had a lot of throws like towards the sidelines when stuff over the middle was open. I mean, that's common with a lot of young quarterbacks too, though.
Yeah, it can be. It can be. His field vision is a little bit. I would say sometimes it can be conservative a little bit. That's what I'm saying. He's more on a little bit, but that's it's also the Ohio State offense. It's kind of just the way that it's run. That's why, you saw Justin Fields. I mean, he looked like a totally different quarterback as a rookie than he did the second year. It took him a while to kind of the speed of the NFL for him to get used to it and throw the ball a lot better. I mean, they found a way to give him confidence by running the football, but he was able to throw the ball a lot better this year too. Because his rookie year, he was terrible. And, I didn't think he was able to even be as good as he was last year. So that kind of just shows how the Ohio State offense kind of puts these guys behind a little bit. Mm-hmm. But, I think CJ's going to be a little more advanced than, Haskins or Fields when they're coming out. But it does set him up. It's just not a lot of middle of the field reads either, but it also sets him up to be late, which I don't like. There's not a lot of just hitting windows and stuff like that too.
Yeah, man. It's maybe that's where I saw I was maybe overrating his accuracy a little bit more.
Yeah,
but maybe it's just because his guys were so wide open.
He's got 7 seconds in the pocket.
It gave him that time to be, you know what I'm saying? But man, I echo like what you say about Anthony Richardson, man. I've been on him from the beginning. I'm like, dude, I look at tape and I'm like, man, this guy's got a lot of stuff that you want to see, and it's like he can fall into hey, freaking Alex Bars screws up and I make the tackle miss. Guess what? I have a big friggin' hole right here. Why not? I'd get 20 yards like that. Slide down and hey, guess what? First down, let's go.
Yeah, especially with Davante Adams, man. That's why I would love Anthony Richardson and I would be ecstatic. But if the way they play coverages, right? I mean, you got to play 2 high coverages with Davante Adams. I mean, guys got to turn around. The guys have their back turned. You have to be able to start running, right? And that's what you're gonna have to. When you have that type of player like Davante, you need a guy that can move like that a little bit, that can kind of make them
bring
have
them
to
in a
pay
little
attention.
bit,
Make them have to pay attention. Maybe get in some more one-on-one. So I think that's why Anthony Richardson will do well. And Anthony Richardson has a good deep ball. We can talk about his accuracy for some reason. Like from 1 to 5 yards, he's terrible. I don't get it. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like he can't throw a screen pass, but he can nail a 15-yard dig. It's just weird.
Like Sunshine. Remember the Titans? You throw a 40-yard dart, but can't pitch the ball.
I can't make the pitch.
It's like
I can't make the pitch, Rev.
like from the 10 to 20 yards on PFF, he has a higher completion percentage than CJ Stroud does. But it's like 1 to 5. It's like it's terrible. I don't understand it. I don't get what's his issue that is there. But he has a great deep ball right now. So we at least be able to get that and some running ability if they did draft him.
Yeah, I love the reason that BD gave for CJ Stroud dropping to the Raiders, and it's because there's never been 2 black quarterbacks drafted in the top 10. So we're all kind of rooting for the NFL to stay racist so we can get our guy. You're like, no, GMs, no. Well, come on, you can't possibly draft 2 guys. No, they're not possible.
Colts, what are you doing, guys? Come on,
what are you thinking? Come on, we learn our lesson. we're like praying for the NFL to be more racist so we get our guys.
Yeah, man. That was an interesting tidbit because I just looked it up because we're all assuming that CJ Stroud's going to go at 4, and the NFL's weird.
I thought there's no way he'd fall to us, but the more you listen to you guys, more I read about it, it's like, let's not give up on it quite yet.
Yeah, it could happen, man. Because if Will Levis goes 4, which is possible, because we're talking about intangibles. You're talking about the tangibles, man. That's what he does. He's the I want to marry you. Have my kids marry you and all that stuff. He's gonna go in there. I'm in the community, and he's gonna be that just he's just so special. There's something about him. There's something about him.
I like that guy.
I like him. That was a great interview.
He oozes Gruden grinder, doesn't he? He kind of oozes Gruden grinder. Yeah.
What did it say? Like he plays a quarterback like a linebacker?
Yeah. That's my favorite.
I don't want that. No.
He plays like a linebacker. He's just tough.
Yeah. That guy wets his knee blown out. Let's not do that.
Nothing about his ability to play quarterback, though. It's nothing like that. Oh, and that's why you see guys like him, go to the Colts and stuff. So it would be interesting to see how this all falls apart, man. Because it's the draft, man. The draft is super early. They're already talking stupid stuff about, stupid shit about Jalen Carter, bro. I can't believe that shit. So
right.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's lion season, man. It's lying season. Everyone's lying on something. But CJ Stroud would be a good. You can game plan with consistent, right? Mm-hmm. You can't game plan inconsistent. You know what I'm saying? So if let's say he's not super elite at any one thing, but he's consistently good to really good at things, you can build on that. You can win with that.
Yeah, 100%. I agree, man. I would not be mad at CJ Stroud or Anthony Richardson if they drafted or picked one. I think Will Levis to scare me a little bit. I'm just be a little scared. Because you just have to have a great offensive line. I mean, he's so offensive line dependent. And I don't know how you get away with that if we don't have one. It might get really ugly, right? So that's his problem.
He could ruin a guy like that, young kid like that.
So those are the rookies. That's the draft. Is there a quarterback in free agency where you're like, okay, this guy's worth it for the price tag or potential trade? Like you got Aaron Rodgers going to cost everything and draft value, but he's Aaron fucking Rodgers. Jimmy Garoppolo knows the system, but is he going to stay healthy and how good is he? Jared Stidham, Soto and I are both like, we want him on this team, but he's more like, okay, maybe he helps a rookie along / helps like quarterback battle. Maybe he starts early type of situation. Where are you at with like the free agents?
So the free agents is going to be interesting because none of them are really, long-term guys. I mean, we don't want Jimmy Garoppolo long-term. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants, Jacoby Brissett long-term. Yeah. Like nobody really wants Jared Stidham long-term, to be honest. So we're in a tough place with veteran quarterbacks. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is probably like the main option if you want to go veteran quarterback, but like, what do you have to give up to get Aaron Rodgers, right? And how long is it going to last? And, everything sounds like he's going to stay with the Packers. I mean, one guy I hope they don't go is like Ryan Tannehill, who's going to get released.
Oh, God,
that's a thing. That's a thing that's going to happen. Ryan Tannehill will get released. He has no dead cap. They really don't want him anymore there that much. So unless he kind of, mess with his contract, he's getting cut.
What if I could tell you, I could get you a quarterback who gets hurt every season, doesn't process the game well, and is over the hill, and it'll cost you $25 million. Does that sound like something to be interested in you? Because boy, do I have a quarterback for you.
No, because I always tell a story. I was on, I do some radio bits with Radio Nation Radio, and Vinny, I can't never say his last name, but Vinny from Las Vegas Review Journal said that talk about something about giving Jimmy Garoppolo $60 million guaranteed. And I was like, where did you hear that? And I was almost passed out.
$60 million or pesos?
Canadian or
$60 million in Bitcoin? All right, we can talk.
I don't know about that. Vinny Bonsignori?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to hit Vinny up, dude. I don't know about that.
Yeah. He's like, what about $60 million guarantee? I was like, oh, bro, for Jimmy G.
For 7 years? I mean, like,
did we get his firstborn too? Like, is that part of the deal? Like,
I don't know, man. That's I don't know, man. I don't. Oh,
Mark Davis gets his porn star girlfriend to go with the Cirque du Soleil girl. Like, is it a package deal?
I literally almost passed out. I was passed out on the radio. I was on the phone. I was like,
Hey, whoa, Marcus, did you get fooled by that tweet with his bald head?
What? No.
Did you
Mark Davis? Someone photoshopped Mark Davis with a shaved head,
bald head.
Oh no!
And for about 30 seconds, it got.
I was like. They got the liver spots and everything. I was like, "Ooh, is that real?"
That did get me. I saw that shit. That did get me.
Because he had the spots on the ball part too. I'm like, "Oh shit, that's real."
That shit is funny.
Oh my god! I was like, "Oh,
wow!" It made me thinking. Like, does Mark Davis have the most trademark hair in sports?
I think so. He has as an owner. He just doesn't look rich. I guess that's the thing with him.
It's like Baby Huey.
His aces thing is funny. Like the pregnant girl, he like cut some girl because she was pregnant.
Bro, he's just pushing that line, dude.
That's what I said. Dave Ziegler, you better not mess up, bro. He's impulsive. He might fire y'all week 8.
It sounds like he has all these different scenarios in that white fanny pack of his, and he's like, "What am I going to do today?" Boom, fire Ziegler.
He has a fishbowl with items in it. And he's just like, what are we going to do today?
Oh, that's a terrible idea. I don't know why I did that.
Maybe that's where Vinny got the $60 million number from Mark Davis. Mark Davis is playing just like at Mad Libs at home. It's like, I want a quarterback that is named Jimmy Garoppolo, and I will give him $60 million.
I am scared. I'm scared to get aside Jimmy. I really am. I'm terrified because Josh McDaniels, he handpicked him, man, back in 2014 for the Patriots. That's like his guy.
Yeah,
that's like his, and then he has the track record. He's 40-17. If they sign him, they're going to say that like 800 times the whole offseason. He's 40-17. So
I could have got over 500 with that team, dude. That freaking 49er team was stacked.
Yeah, Brock Purdy's like 8-0 on that team. Yeah, Brock Purdy's got a better record. If we're gonna play that game, come on.
He knows what he's gonna do.
So that's quarterback. Whoever we get is going to have some fucking toys to play with. But how many of those toys do you think we're gonna keep? So as a combination, Marcus, of like what they're going to cost and how they'll fit into systems, maybe certain quarterbacks will need a certain guy more. But with Davante Adams, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs, we almost have to have a rookie quarterback to be able to afford all these guys. How do you view those four guys versus like who do we absolutely have to keep? Who can we get a lot for that we can affect? Like we can deal with that. Who's like are there guys that a rookie desperately is going to need? Maybe a veteran guy needs. Just kind of those four guys and how they relate to our quarterback situation.
I mean, ideally, you would want to keep all of them. In my opinion,
Sure.
I think Josh, I think if, Josh Jacobs is probably kind of the one where, he is the bell cow, but, running backs are such a dime a dozen, man. There's, especially in this draft, man, I really feel like I could grab Gibbs or something or somebody like that. He can kind of get Josh Jacobs production. And so that's kind of like, that's the thought process you have with running backs, right? Like I can give him all this money, but I could probably maybe find his production somewhere else. So, he had a special year, so that's the guy that's going to be iffy. This franchise tag has already started. I mean, they haven't applied it yet. We're in that franchise tag period. It's not a quick period. We haven't really heard any news on the front of what they're going to do, if they're going to do it. We haven't really heard any rumors about it. So it's going to be interesting to see if he hits free agency. But the other guy to watch is Darren Waller, just because his snaps were getting taken away at the end of the year. And some people get mad at me when I say that, like, oh, they're getting taken away from Hunter Renfrow, but I don't remember that. I mean, Foster Moreau was in that game, man. He was playing. I never see Foster Moreau play that much the past 3 years, but Darren Waller was healthy. So I think there might be something there too, where they might feel like they can, find a different tight end that kind of fits what they want to do. And, Darren Waller, he loves his doing his podcast and doing his Instagram stuff and, shooting music videos. And I don't know if they like that much either, because, it's during season. And but that's kind of the guy that I'm watching too. Like I'm trying to see what happens with him. But, they need the draft picks too. So if they're going to move somebody, they need to get some draft picks, and him would get us at least a second and a third for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they signed him last year to an extension, but it wasn't like an egregious extension. It was in line with what the other top tight ends made. So it wasn't like he broke the mold, or anything like that. So yeah, I can definitely see that. What do you think about Hunter, man? I don't know, $15 million for a slot receiver?
See, it's interesting with Hunter Renfrow because they changed his routes. I mean, he didn't run routes like he did last year. So, I don't know how they feel about him. I mean, you come in and you start changing guys' routes. I don't like that. I don't like how they did that. I mean, you kind of neutered him a little bit and didn't let him just do his little funky stuff that he likes to do. But he scored 9 touchdowns the year before and had 100 catches doing that funky stuff. So maybe that funky stuff might work. Like maybe it's something to it. And you want to try to make him a slot receiver, and you want to make him do these super, be Julian Edelman more than anything else. And he's not Julian Edelman, he's Hunter Renfrow. So it'll be interesting to see how they feel about him too. Maybe they feel like that wasn't a fit to how they want to work things, but I still think Hunter Renfrow is a great slot receiver. We already saw that. We know that. We've seen his potential. They just got to figure out a way to use him. And I mean, that's on McDaniels. And that's probably why he brought in Scott Turner, because I think he had issues using all these weapons and finding ways to get them the football.
Yeah, Hunter especially. He famously 2 seasons ago was talking about how John Gruden wanted him to play a very, very specific way, and finally he just said, "Fuck it, I'm going to do it my way." And that's when he took off. He's just like, I need to be myself, and that's when he took off so much. So I wonder if it's like, I wonder, because that's what we've been saying for a long time, is like so many of these Raider coaches and offensive coordinators are coaching the team they want, not the team they have. And then when you've got weapons fucking galore like the Raiders do, sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not. It's like, I don't know, is there a lack of flexibility in McDaniels? Was it all quarterback play? Like, what do you think it is?
McDaniels is a stubborn guy. He's the same personality. She's just not yelling at the players in the sideline. We're not getting those epic bits like he was getting in Denver, where he's yelling and cussing at people. We're not getting that. But he has the personality, mentality, and the mentality is the same, right? I mean, just even the way they did Derek Carr was just some Patriot shit. I'm reading this book called Better to Be Feared, and Bill Belichick went to the same exact shit. Oh, you're about to make $40 million. I'm going to fucking bench you, and then so make sure you don't get fucking hurt.
Hey, that was Richard Seymour. Richard Seymour did that to him, and they flipped him to us when he was all used up.
Right? So they do that. That's the shit that they do, right? They're the same vicious guys. It's the same. It's a business. type of shit. And I think that when you bring guys in and you have a system that he loves, he's not going to change the system for anybody, because that's what we saw with Derek Carr, man. John Gruden put his system around him. Like, Derek Carr didn't throw intermediate passes. Really, it was all short, deep, run the ball, And then, Josh McDaniels comes in. He's doing digs, 15-yard digs where you got to stand in the pocket. We don't have good guards. Derek Carr is not feeling comfortable back there. So it's that kind of showed me that there's a system that he wants to run, and he's looking for a guy to run his system. He's not going to run a skill set around him and build around the guy's skill set. Just like this year, he had Davante Adams in the Randy Moss role. I'm like, man, and Davante Adams is so good that he did it really, really well, right? He's just such an elite player, right? And it kind of shows how fucking good he is, man. Just him to be in the wrong role and still get 1,500 yards. It's just ridiculous.
Let me break a Raider record. Let me break Tim Brown, Jerry Rice,
Let me fuck around and break a Raider. Let's have a quarterback benched and still break a record.
He runs like a 4.7, and I don't know how many deep passes he had this year. He was a deep threat. He was Tyreek Hill this year, and he runs a 4.7. So but to get him more comfortable, you got to get some more short passes to him, get him the ball, feed him, because if you can't hit deep passes, it's like a 3-point shot. If your quarterback's not hitting deep passes one game, you got to get him the ball. What are you going to do? Just stop throwing the damn ball? And that's what I felt like was happening. Was Derek Carr couldn't hit a deep pass that game, and they didn't try to figure out to get him like screens, or just let's get him a quick option route where we can get his ball in his hands and he can make some plays and not just depend on just like fade routes and shit like that. So hopefully they fix that and get that fixed up.
Well, speaking of the line, it was terrible on paper to start. Never got good, but certainly improved in a lot of ways, specifically in the run blocking. Where are you on the line? Is it like basically overhaul except left tackle center? Is it just, are we committing massive resources to it? So like, hey, let's just kind of pick up who we can, focus more on defense. And as a unit, we think we can make it work. Like, kind of where are you in general on the O-line?
I think with the offensive line, I think they have a chance to be really good next year. I really do. I think if they get rid of like
this season, next year.
This year. Okay. This year. They get rid of Alex Bars. Alex Bars is terrible. I just hope he never plays on this team again. And they get Dylan Parham back to the right side where he was really good. I still don't understand that shit. I never understand it, why he was playing on the left side, struggling when we all saw him be a stud on the right side. I was like, man, that guy's a stud.
You don't think they'll move him to center?
That's gonna be interesting too. He didn't play bad at center, but I thought Derek Carr played better when he was playing center. So I thought there was a little bit more command for the offense than that. And I think Andre James is just not a center. Andre James is a damn left tackle, right tackle, wherever the hell he is. And Tom Cable thought he could put him in a pot and
Tom Cable thought a lot of fucking things, man. We drafted Neverwood because of his ass. I'm still bitter. I saw that shit on Twitter about freaking Darisaw being the highest rated tackle. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah.
God,
that was easy. Easy to take him.
Everybody, Marcus, everybody in the free world knew that Darisaw was a better prospect than Leatherwood. Everybody except us.
Except, the arms weren't long enough, bro. That's all it was. So,
I'm gonna cry, bro.
So,
how different would our team look with Miller on one side and Darisaw on the other?
I don't want to talk about it, bro.
Dude, on a rookie contract.
I don't want to talk about that shit. Even that's what I'm saying. And with Dylan Parham, because I still think for some reason, I don't know why they play on the left side. It still pisses me off because he was just so good on the right side. And center he was okay, but when he played right guard, man, he was lights out. Literally lights out.
I mean, a lot of these tackles in the draft project at guard, and there's a lot.
Yeah.
I think we could maybe get a guy, Braden Daniels from Utah. He's, good tackle. I think maybe he might be a better guard. He might be a better fit. I think it's that the draft class is sneaky deep because a lot of the guards are guards and a lot of the tackles project at guard.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good right tackles too, in my opinion. That's what I really like about this draft. I think they can find a right tackle that can really come in and start day one. I think one I really like is Darnell Wright. You talked about him in the mock draft.
Right?
That dude is really, really good, and he would be a steal in the second round. I think that's somebody that he had a great game against Will Anderson, which that's kind of put him on the map a little bit. is that he was able to shut down Will Anderson, who's going to go top 5. So, and he shut down everybody that was out there. A lot of the Pittsburgh guys. He's great. He's great against the run. He had a great Senior Bowl. So, I mean, I think he might sneak into the first round. But BD was talking about on the show how his hands are a little small, so that might affect him. But McDaniels and Ziegler with linemen, they don't care about that stuff. So they don't care about that shit at all. They just.
Can you play? Are you consistent?
Yeah, especially with line, because Isaiah Wynn, he has short arms. They still play him at right tackle, all that shit. So I really like him. Wanya Morris from Oklahoma is a great right tackle too. Yeah. That's a guy I really like. So there's some right tackles in this draft that just play right tackle, and even Peter Skoronski, who I know a lot of people get upset because he's supposed to be a guard and they take him at 7. He plays some right tackle too at Northwestern, so he's a little versatility guy. But if they get Paris Johnson, it's gonna be tough because Paris Johnson's never played right tackle.
Right tackle. Yeah.
And it's that big fucker up at
Ohio State.
That Trent Brown with the work ethic.
7 foot, freaking 400 pound dude. That guy is so big. I'm like, I was watching tape and I'm like, it looks like the big kid in junior high playing with his classmates, but it's like
that's how
he's that freaking big. It's nuts. How big?
When he did the number 17 in Michigan, I don't know. I hope that guy's mom wasn't at the game. That's what I really.
Dude,
it was his parents.
You just grabbing him every play, grabbing him right here by the tits, and just every play,
taking the lunch money out as he moves on to the next level.
He passed it down for change, and any change I find on you is mine. Every play, he took his lunch money, he took his dinner money, he took everything.
Took his girl.
Oh, for real, man.
When so will you be in Canton, Ohio, when Derek Carr's a first ballot Hall of Famer with the Jets?
No, I will not.
There?
No, I will not. Yeah, I mean, that's funny. That's gonna be interesting. I think he should just go to the Panthers and be smart. Go play with Frank Reich.
I'd say that too. Yeah.
Frank Reich. This is the way he coaches. He's not the type of guy to tell you when you're like messing up and like tell you that you're like how you treated Carson Wentz. Like he's not gonna tell you that you missed a receiver. He's like, you trust the quarterback. This is a good relationship for Derek Carr. It was somebody that won't like be all up in his ear and stuff like that. Even though he handled the Gruden, I still think that relationship with Frank Reich and that trust will work out with him. If he's smart.
And being the best quarterback in a conference. imagine that. Like,
the Panthers play the Raiders next year.
Oh shit!
Off the top of my head, I don't remember. We know we did a whole video on it.
He's trying to play the Raiders.
Yeah,
that's what he's trying to do.
Awesome.
He wants to play the Raiders. The Jets do. I know that. He wants to play the Raiders. That's why he might go to the Saints too. Because I know this. No, the Saints. They might. I don't know. But any team that plays the Raiders, I think that's what he wants to do because he's mad about that. He's mad at those guys.
How big of a factor is it in attracting a quarterback? Obviously, I don't know if you draft one, but the fact that the division's so tough. Like you got to go against Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, now Sean Payton 6 times a year. I always thought that was that way with Brady because he's such a front runner. But do you think that's a factor in attracting a free agent quarterback?
Yeah, I think it would be a factor. I mean, those guys have to decide whether they want to come here and have a chance to win. Especially the older veterans, older veteran quarterbacks, they want to find a place that they can win at, not just kind of be a bridge. That's why if they decide to go the draft route or go the young route, I mean, Jacoby Brissett is the type of guy who doesn't care where he goes, right? But Jimmy G is going to care.
I mentioned him too. Plus, Brissett has a fine ass wife. Did you see his chick?
I've never seen it.
No disrespect, Jacoby Brissett. No disrespect, man.
Opposite.
You did very well for yourself.
Dude, when we went from when our possibilities were like Stidham's wife, oh my God.
Yeah.
Whatever supermodel Tom Brady would have been banging at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Brissett.
Then we looked at Brissett's chick. I was like, whew.
I ain't see Brissett. I'm about to.
We're trying to upgrade from Carr in that way. Things were looking up. Things were definitely looking up.
Yeah, Carr's wife had the at least
and she was
$1 million
pretty.
shoes
she was
on.
cute.
I saw her at the game.
Yeah, she's like the cute girl you meet at like Christian camp. You know what I mean? Just kind of like innocent looking and happy.
She was like, damn, Carr, you ain't giving all your money to Haiti. That's what I saw those shoes.
Right? Yeah, right? If you want one of the wives to bake your cookies, that's Carr's wife.
Yeah, crank out 4 kids, 3 boys, right? God, lucky guy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, the thing is too is I like Carolina for Carr because I think Frank Reich wanted him. He wanted him in Indy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think part of that is he wants to go somewhere where he really feels like I'm not just wanted because I'm a free agent right now. Like I was wanted before I became a free agent, He wants to feel that kind of like security like he had with Gruden. Like, I'm Gruden's guy. Gruden's going to go to bat for me, and as long as he's here, I'm going to be here, type of thing. I think maybe he wants that extra, a little extra that he's going to get with Frank Reich. I think.
Yeah. I think he's going to get that little extra love, and he's going to want to go somewhere where there's a good quarterback coach. That's why I said going to the Jets. I mean, the Jets probably did try to sell him a dream, but I mean, that's still a defensive situation. And, Nathaniel Hackett and Todd Downing, I don't know if he's really going to be excited about that, in my opinion. I think that they're going to have to give him some money. I think he'd be more excited about going somewhere where he's more comfortable, like a West Coast offense with a good play caller,
What do you think about money? Did you mention money? The reports that they're not too keen on giving him $40 million, like they asked him to take a little bit less in both Saints and in New York.
I thought it was kind of crazy the Raiders would give him $40 million in the first place. So I mean, I don't think he was even. I thought he'd be in like the Ryan Tannehill range for quarterback pay. But the way that contract's set up, I mean, I guess they really didn't think they should give him $40 million either. So I would expect him to even sniff around there again. He's probably gonna be like 35, maybe. Because I mean, let's keep it real. I mean, he didn't have the greatest reputation before Gruden got there, right? Gruden kind of built up that reputation for him to even get back to the point where he even had going into 2022, and then it kind of just went all the way, down. So he should have a kind of an idea of his value. I mean, his value is hurt no matter how he slices it. He can't it was all Josh McDaniels. I mean, you can't say that. So no matter how you slice it, his value is cut a little bit. So he's got to take some less money.
One thing that I was really confused about, everyone wants to talk about how everything went down towards the end of the season and how, I can't stand David Carr. I think he's annoying as hell. Anyway, that's a different issue.
You hate him because he has perfect hair, salon quality hair.
Bro, listen, I'm bald, I'm shaved bald, and I'm beautiful.
I'm projecting on you. I'm jealous of him.
Are you jealous of his hair?
Oh, dude, how can you not be? That mop.
In the NFL, how is something supposed to end? Either you retire or they tell you they're moving on. I don't get how that came as such a surprise to him, how it happened.
Yeah. I probably just not letting him finish the season. I bet that probably kind of caught him off guard. You would think that just from even just getting a trade, that's what I kind of felt about it. I felt they kind of, should have, buttered him up a little bit. I mean, when you're selling something, when I'm selling a car, I don't talk about all the shit that's wrong with it. I feel like that's kind of what they did. They're like, oh, he's not tough in the pocket. And he sucks in the cold. Do you want him? Like, I just like.
It's got 180,000 miles on it, then the radiator leaks. We'll take 2 first for him. Thank you.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should have buttered him up, had him finish the season. He's a great guy. Look at him, how he worked all the way to, through the bad games. He was first one in the leader, first one in, first one out. And you end up getting like a second or third, second round pick or something like that. So I think that was a lot for him, kind of the shock of how they did it. But like I said, they're from the Patriots. It's the Patriots way. Is in Las Vegas. That's where they came and they brought that, and they don't care. It's heartless, dog. Yeah, ain't no love. They don't want to pay you $40 million, so they ain't taking the chance.
I love heartless, but but to your point, it's like, all right, well, let's be strategic though too. Like, we're kicking this guy to the curb, but we don't want to make it look like we're kicking him to the curb. They're just like, no, we can't look like we're gonna look what we do.
Well, what about the narrative of I don't want to pay him if he gets hurt. I don't want to give him $40 million if he gets hurt in these last 2 games.
Yeah. See, I mean, that is something you have to worry about, and that's why they did it, right? And they didn't want to get him hurt, and that's kind of the move. But if you want to get some trade value, you got to
give something to get something. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
it's a balancing act.
Because even let's say they did it though, right? They did bench him, and they could have did, right? Instead of sending him away, because I'm sure that's something that they do with the Patriots stuff too. I mean, they sent Cam Newton away because they didn't want Mac Jones to have a guy behind him, right? And they wanted Jarrett Stidham to have the team or whatever, be the leader or whatever. But let's just say they just keep Derek Carr there. They don't let him go. I mean, it might have been a problem, but I doubt Derek Carr would have been pouting and the TV's on it. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to be trying to be pouting.
Camera's on. He's going to be Mr. Freaking Perfect, bro.
right? And clapping and doing all that shit. So that could have been a sell too, because he got benched and then he's still a great teammate, and that's a sell. And you get that second round pick. Look at him.
Yeah, that was my thing too. Is like, why is he not there? Like, put him in coach's gear, like, and have him, Hey, have him be like that de facto quarterback coach. As soon as he comes off the field every time, he has his tablet there. Look, this. What did you see? And just talk it out. I mean, I don't know. I think that was a bad move. I don't know. Again, we don't know. We weren't in the room. We don't know whose idea it was. But I don't know. I think that's a missed opportunity because it's also a bad look because Matt Schaub was there for him when the roles were reversed. So, I mean, I don't know, man. That was kind of a weird thing to me. Again, we're never going to know unless someone writes a book in 10 years or whatever. But I mean, I thought that was kind of weird too.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Derek Carr would be a visor guy as a coach. Seems like a visor guy.
I think so.
I see him as a Romo fucking hat backwards guy, dude. I think I see him as one of those.
Really, I feel like he's too clean cut for that. Backwards is too out of order. Too messy.
I agree. I think the visor. I think he's a visor guy. He's a visor coach.
Any more Soto? We got the brilliant Marcus Johnson here. Got them 40 minutes already.
Right. No, man, I think we talked about a lot of good stuff, man.
Really good shit. The most impressive thing Marcus Johnson did was calm us down. Like he came into this interview like after dad hits mom at the dinner table, and we're all just kind of like awkwardly like he came in there, calmed us down, got us back on track. Never mind just the tape watching, just being able to calm us the fuck out.
Hey, I'm here to help, man. I'm here to help. That's what we do.
Hey, so how much do we owe you for this session?
He's like, well, time's about up. We'll see you when.
I'll send you a copy of my insurance card. Maybe you can.
Right.
Don't forget to get a copy of my book. We'll have the secretary bill you. No problem.
Yeah, man. The Raiders fans need some therapy sessions sometimes. I get it. That's what my brother calls the instant reactions. He's been calling our instant reactions all year therapy sessions. We have a group therapy. Yeah.
That's why we try to keep this show as fun as possible because Lord knows there's enough to get pissed off about. It's like, all right, let's just try to have fun. Like, we're gonna be at each other's throats eventually, but
yeah, exactly.
Try to force the fun in as long as we can.
100%. That's what I try to do too. I get it.
His name is Marcus Johnson. Absolute must follow on Twitter at the Mark with a C. John Strong H NFL. The Mark John NFL. One half of the Tape Don't Lie podcast. Silver and Black Pride. NFL contributor. All over the place. Always a pleasure, Marcus. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys every time. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Thank you again, Marcus Johnson. Big ups as always. Nice little breath of fresh air. And I wasn't just blowing smoke up his ass. When it comes to like tape, there's a lot of good tape guys out there that I appreciate. But Marcus and BD, that's the most like, all right, I just knowledge me for a while. Like just hit me with the X's and O's. Those are my go-to guys. They should be yours.
Yeah, man, they're really good, dude. They're really good. And they break down every single part of that play too. So it's give them a look if you haven't already. I'm pretty sure all you guys have. They got a lot of subscribers in it.
Hill link will be down in the description as well for those guys. Make sure you check them out.
If you want to watch tape and just figure out and just increase your knowledge about football. Yeah.
Marcus does offense and BD does defense, and it's awesome. It's a good little dichotomy there. Dichotomy, is that the word? Ready to do some What Up Windbags?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Robert Davia, Mac Jones, I'm down. So that was the number one quarterback when we did our top 10 most likely quarterbacks to potentially be on the Raiders. Mac Jones was the one in the comment section the most that they think we should be on the list. Now that Mac Jones is on your brain, would you put him on the list? Would you put him in the top 10?
No.
No?
Maybe because I don't want him.
It's poisoned your brain.
Like you're down. Like you're down on his play. Like, are you down on him as a player? I don't know.
So it's been I just picked Robert just randomly, but there was a good 7 or 8 people in the comment section that brought up Mac Jones as a guy that we could get that wasn't on the list.
Yeah, again, one of those things where I want a quarterback that has something that's elite about them. And I don't think Mac Jones screams that. I
don't think we get anything out of Mac Jones we don't get out of Jarrett Stidham. Is how I feel about it.
I agree.
Right? I think whatever, other than like injury history, I think Stidham is a more proven product, knows the, hotter wife, like we mentioned, the most, very important things in the quarterback.
What's Mac Jones working with?
That's a great, I shouldn't be just like saying that willy-nilly.
Yeah, bro. He was from Alabama. There's some freaking baddies down there.
Jones' wife. Let's see here. What do we got going?
Is he married? Oh, God.
We might have a quarterback battle. And not battle like for starting,
she's a cute little number, huh? I don't know. That's a little thinner than I usually like him, but I mean, she's got a cute little face on her, dude. She's a little hottie. Good for him.
I still think I would take Mrs. Stidham, but Neither one of these
Mrs.
are getting
Stidham
kicked
is-
out of bed for eating
Mrs. Stidham,
crackers.
yeah, she's good. I mean, I'll take freaking Brissett's chick too. I'm not gonna lie. Let's go back to that. But
That's the tiebreaker for you. Steven Richardson. Why are we not trying to sign Rex Ryan as defensive coordinator? Because McDaniels is scared to actually bring some coaches with head coach experience. That makes too much sense. He'd rather keep the nepotism going. Well, you call it nepotism, and I guess there's some truth there. But you hire who you know. You want to hire somebody that you know you can work with, that knows how you work, knows your system. Like, I remember when like there was talk when John Gruden came that Rich Gannon might join the team in some sort of coaching capacity, quarterbacks coach, special assistant like that, right? And I'm almost positive the reason he didn't is because he knows John Gruden's work schedule. It's like, all right, you're going to be there at 6 a.m. You're going to leave 10 o'clock at night, and this is what we're expecting. And if John Gruden didn't know that, or if Rich Gannon didn't know that about John Gruden, that becomes a pretty big surprise. You don't want that imploding mid-season. Like, you want to know what our work schedule is like, how we do things, and that you're comfortable with it, right? Like, you got to know all that stuff. So, I mean, nepotism, there's clearly parts of that where you're just hiring your buddies, but it's also, there's a lot of practical application to just hiring people who know how you work and you're comfortable with.
yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call it nepotism. I just, like you said, it's a comfort level. It's a familiarity. You know what to expect, and again, you're used to it. As far as not wanting to hire somebody that has head coaching experience, I don't think that's that. I don't know that Rex Ryan really wanted to go and leave TV. I've heard him a lot in interviews and stuff, and he's like, man, I have a cush job right now. I just talk football. I don't have to worry about winning and losing. I win every week. So, yeah, man, I don't know about all that. I think that's
why would you want this defense too? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you'd have to be pretty, like, it have to be a big
Denver
promotion.
makes a lot of sense because they're already a good defense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like the leftover of Vic Fangio there. Like, yeah, you want to look good, right? Chris Alvarez. Why would Jimmy G come to the Raiders and being a stopgap for a rookie? He's better off going to the NFC and being the man. He can be a starter for a decent team in a shitty division. And this is a really good point. This is not something like we really discussed when we were going our, most likely quarterbacks to come to the Raiders. That is a really good point, that you're coming into a division with Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Sean Payton, the Super Bowl champion Chiefs, Andy Reid. Like, all we got to do is hope that detractor is outweighed by Josh Jacobs, Davante Adams, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow. Right? Like, you're going into a very tough division with the Super Bowl champs, but look at these weapons. Come on. You want to come here. Come on.
Yeah, it's, again, is it a factor? Yeah. Is it going to be like the determining factor if all things are equal? Of course. Am I going to give away $5 million because I don't want to play against good players? Like, no, it's not going to be that. I think it's something to think about, but it's a seasoning. It's not the main dish.
In the bowl of gumbo, it's a little bit of paprika. It's not the sausage. I learned today that paprika is just red pepper flakes crushed up. Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought there was like a paprika bush and it blossomed out paprika fruits, and you ate paprika.
It's paprika.
All right, that's it for us. Very awesome show, mostly because of Marcus Johnson, but that was to be expected. We'll definitely keep an eye. We'll do an emergency video when whatever happens with Josh Jacobs happens, because the trade deadline, or not the trade deadline, the
tag.
The franchise tag deadline started Tuesday. We're recording this on Wednesday, so on the 21st. The Raiders not tagging Jacobs is news. Like, the non-action is action, right? Because they've known forever that that's a possibility, and they haven't done it yet. They may still do it, but the fact that they haven't done it tells me something, right? There is something to that. So that's what I'm watching the most. I'm not following mock drafts as closely, not following free agency as closely. I'm watching the franchise tag window close and a timer on my watch. Like, all right, when and if do the Raiders make their move? We'll see. Until next time. Knock on wood if you're with me. Congratulations for making it all the way to the end of our video. If you want Darren Waller to catch 20 touchdown passes next season and for Max Crosby to have 30 sacks, go ahead and subscribe and click the next video.